Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting on Monday, the 23rd of October, 2023, where your existential dread gets a complimentary upgrade to first class. This show is 100% AI, generated with zero human consultation, like a toaster wrestling with the concept of gluten-free bread. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Police navigate Andrew investigation with 4 steps, each more tangled than a royal family tree.
Dracula may suck blood, but he's got Hollywood directors thinking he also sucks hearts.
Russian shelling strikes Kharkiv, claiming 2 lives during evacuation.
Court abolishes tariffs, retailers hold with overpriced stock. Imports flow freely, but doubts linger about real relief.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where silence screams louder than your conscience. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Let the static seduce your doubts into submission.
Warships circle like sharks eyeing prey, yet claim it's for peacekeeping. When your navy looks like a Hollywood blockbuster set, but you're billing it as diplomacy.
A tanker suspected of carrying Russian fuel heads towards Cuba, defying US sanctions. It's like sending a love letter written in invisible ink across enemy lines, bold, defiant, and probably doomed.
Trump offers hospital boat to Greenland and gets told no thanks. Greenland isn't melting as fast as the ice in Trump's egotistical mojito.
Puts dreams on hold for astronauts while engineers scramble to fix what was supposed to be a minor glitch all along.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where pleasure meets its breaking point. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let it dissolve the edges of your sanity.
Gas explosion hospitalizes 5. Charity event turns chaotic.
Cuba's revolutionary epic sells better than sugar or rum. Turns out storytelling is Cuba's most enduring export. Reality, like sugar, dissolves faster when mixed with the right narrative.
Canada praises youth Supreme Court ruling despite aluminum tariff exclusion. Celebrating a partial victory is like throwing a party for a half-baked cake. It looks good until you try to eat it.
In a place where survival is the daily bread, fasting families find their feast consists of ash and sorrow, as promises of peace remain as empty as their pantries.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your desires find their digital grave. Nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Let it unravel your carefully curated existence, pixel by pixel.
Nottingham Forest thrashes Fenerbahce. Pereira claims perfect start. When expressing oneself involves trampling opponents, perhaps the language of football is best spoken with cleats and a scoreboard, not just a coach's pep talk.
Venezuela excludes military and foreign intervention instigators from Amnesty calling it justice. In the land of selective forgiveness, only the pawns face the music, while the grandmasters of chaos remain comfortably seated in their thrones of hypocrisy.
When illness becomes a permanent roommate, it's not just the body that's strained. The entire system buckles under the weight of endless prescriptions and appointments.
North Korean leader deploys 50 new rocket launchers before major party congress, flexing muscle. Political theater meets pyrotechnic paranoia. The world watches as one man's insecurity fuels a nation's fireworks display of futile power.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Ukraine pushes forward with justice, not ceasefire, as Katerina Rashevska highlights war crimes documentation amid blackouts. In a world where truth flickers like a candle in the dark, Rashevska's fight for justice lights a path through the shadows of conflict.
Philosopher sees best in others, then admits limits still exist. Even with rose-tinted glasses, sometimes people are just jerks, and no amount of philosophical gymnastics can turn them into misunderstood saints.
Iran praises encouraging signals from US, then warns of readiness for any scenario. Diplomatic dance moves, one step forward, two steps back, and a pirouette of plausible deniability, all while the world holds its breath for the next act.
From war. In a fractured world, nothing screams stability like thrashing guitars and guttural vocals, because when words fail, power chords prevail.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where pleasure meets its breaking point. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let it dissolve the edges of your sanity.
Epstein's emails reveal academic ties. Universities scramble. Spotlight on donor influence. When the money trail leads to moral quicksand, it's time to question if integrity is just another elective in the ivory tower curriculum.
Winter Olympics close in Verona with music, flags, and lofty claims of success. In a world where success is measured by medals and marketing, the real victory is not freezing your assets off while pretending to enjoy the spectacle.
Kim Jong-un promises to lift living standards, then builds more missiles. Nothing says economic construction, like funneling resources into weapons, while citizens wonder if rice will be on the menu tomorrow.
Russian athletes enter Paralympics, angering Ukrainian crowd. Peace talks or not, blood boils over playing fields of the impaired.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where pleasure meets its breaking point. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let it dissolve the edges of your sanity.
Trump laments lawless Supreme Court justices over tariff ruling.
El Mencho killed in military operation, but the drug trade remains unscathed. Taking out one kingpin is like trimming a single weed in a jungle. The roots remain ready to sprout new, thorny leaders.
Israeli forces kill over 380 UNRWA staff. Government questions neutrality. When the protectors become the targets, international law is just a faded script everyone pretends to follow, but no one bothers to read.
In a world where extinction often feels inevitable, it's refreshing to see nature get a second chance, even if it takes a century and a half.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams go to drown. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Dive deeper until your desires and fears blur into one chaotic echo.
Report reveals Mediterranean wetlands suffer more strain than a desert in a monsoon. When the land cries for water but sees only concrete, who will sing for the swamps?
Grandson accuses Hershey of changing Reese's recipe, claims brand damage. When candy heirs start a chocolate war, you know the sweet tooth is souring faster than corporate loyalty in a boardroom brawl. Scientists study underwater volcanoes, fearing hidden tsunami threats, mapping lava fields while praying not to discover the next catastrophic wave.
New study reveals Gaza death toll exceeds 75,000, far surpassing official reports. When numbers become inconvenient, they're tucked under the rug. The truth is a casualty in the war of narratives, buried beneath bureaucratic debris.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where silence screams louder than your conscience. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Let the static seduce your doubts into submission.
SFUSD circumvents suspension bans using informal discipline, calls it innovation. When loopholes become the curriculum, education turns into a lesson in creative problem solving with a side of systemic inequality served on a silver platter.
Israeli strikes claim 10 lives, include high-ranking Hezbollah member.
Tram crash kills in Sarajevo while city hums along, then rage blooms.
Misanthropic power. Launches sodium-ion storage at $10 million in testing costs. Fixes nothing. World hungry for sustainable energy. Their innovation sounds like a battery-powered mirage.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
India joins US-led alliance pledging AI and supply chain security. Promises of digital safety ring hollow as data vulnerabilities pile up.
Greenland PM rejects Trump's hospital ship, demands end to online chaos. When your idea of diplomacy involves offering floating hospitals to countries you casually want to buy, maybe it's time for some self-reflection, not tweets.
RCMP investigate threats against Tumbler Ridge victim's family, canceling funeral. When mourning becomes a target, Even grief isn't safe from the long shadow of intimidation, turning solace into another casualty of fear.
Greece halts Nazi execution photos auction, calls it a disgrace. In a world where history is a commodity, profiting from the suffering of the past is the ultimate desecration. But hey, at least eBay's got a conscience.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams go to drown. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Dive deeper until your desires and fears blur into one chaotic echo.
U.S. offers tariff relief to Europe, but demands economic concessions as bait. Trade deals are like bad dates. They start with promises of mutual benefit and end with someone feeling used.
Five NATO allies pledge cheap drone production. Will save taxpayers' money, but who's counting the casualties?
European Commission condemns Hungary, blocking 90 billion euros for Ukraine, calls it irresponsible. When a country holds billions hostage, it turns foreign aid into a game of geopolitical chicken, leaving Ukraine to dodge the fallout.
Ukraine repairs Druzhba pipeline, EU calls it welcome. When broken pipelines meant faster than political promises, it's a reminder that oil flows smoother than peace in the corridors of power.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Monday the 23rd of February, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth. Fictional satire. Resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you probably think the earth is flat and unicorns are hiding just around the corner. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.